if you know that there is something wrong with your body and you can feel it, there's no point doing anything else with your life trying to fix it in any other way. There's no point trying to like hit the gym, build up muscle. There's no point trying to whatever it is you're doing to distract yourself from your body, because the body stores all trauma that we experience, and it literally gets stuck, and it's like a weight that will hold you down. It will keep you, it will hold you down. And everything you do in your life until you get to the root cause of that trauma, I'm talking, and that can be deeply buried. You have to get to the root of it. Until you do that, everything you do in your life, you're going to bring that trauma into it, and then you're not going to be creating anything from a place of wholeness, completeness, because you're bringing that energy into what you're doing. You're creating from trauma. So whatever you're doing, if you can feel that your body isn't right, or if you feel that you're not complete, you can't, well, you can, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't be doing anything else to try and fix it. You need to go on a journey of realignment and healing and expelling the trauma from your body. It will get stuck in your heart. It will get stuck in your intestines. It will get stuck anywhere. Body stores it. And most people are living from trauma because we've all experienced it, some worse than others. And when you have trauma, as you carry it through your childhood and you grow up, your body doesn't develop properly because you're not relaxed. There's areas where you're not refusing because you're unconscious of it, but you're not feeling. And where you're not feeling, you're not developing. There's no connection there. So the body will go into misalignment. And that's what everyone's experiencing. So you have to get your body in alignment and get these traumas. You just have to feel them. And I know it's like, how do I feel trauma? How do I get there? Because it's easy to say to someone, you need to feel that trauma, or you need to get to the root of that trauma. But it's like, how do I do that? And the way is you realign your body, because once the body comes into alignment, it will pull the traumas that you're not feeling and you're not able to breathe in those areas. It will pull them in, and then you'll feel them, and then they'll get expelled. And it's painful, and it is absolutely, without a doubt, difficult. But if you don't do it, you're gonna keep living on a loop. Have you noticed how anyone listening to this with trauma, most people, everyone, have you noticed how certain things just loop in your life? Situations, like you attract the same situations, you end up in the same places, you end up around the same people, and you can't get out of it. It's because you're being guided by trauma. You're not yourself. You're not yourself. You're living a false existence. We all have been. And like I said, if you're doing anything else to try and escape, which is what people do, if I go to the gym and lift weights, or whatever, I'll get a job, and whatever you're doing to distract yourself, not going to work. Never going to work. You can get as big and muscly as you want. You can earn as much money as you want. You can make millions, of pounds, millions of dollars, whatever. But it's false. It's not real. It's out of alignment with your true will. Completely out of alignment. You're never gonna feel satisfied, because it's just it's like a state of constant desire, because you're pushing yourself away, and then it gets replaced with like desire. So you're just always looking to like feel where that trauma is. There's like, it's like a hole, because you're not breathing into it, so you're not feeling it. So it's like a hole, and you won't fill it. You're not going to fill it with outside stuff. You never ever. The only way out is, like they say, the only way out is in. You have to understand that this trauma that we're carrying is running the show. Your entire life. If you honestly look at your life, if you're a person who's been through trauma and you haven't addressed it, honestly look at your life and ask yourself, am I doing things from a place of pure love and creation, or am I doing it because I need to distract myself? Or is it all just fear? Because it's fear. It's running away. And I lived my whole life like that. My whole life. Like when you see like all those videos I made, which is, it was my process, but the videos of like me doing the juice fasting, and I was drinking and doing drugs before that, and then all of it was all fear. It was all avoidance. And it's like when, for example, if you say you eat too much food one day, and then you get this idea in your mind that, oh, I'm eating too much food, so I'm going to fast now. It's like you're overindulging in something to distract yourself, and then you fast to like punish yourself. So both of those things are fear-based activities. There's no completeness in any of that. There's no like balance. There's no middle road. There's no like coherence to it. It's just like complete and utter chaos. It's chaos. So when you get your body into alignment, which is not, if you have severe misalignments, I am telling you, it is not a simple process. But what's the alternative? If you don't do it, you're going to loop and loop and loop and loop and loop for the rest of your life, into next lives. I don't know. But that's what you're going to do. It's going to go over and over and over and over. And you're going to suffer every time, all the way along. Suffering, 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 suffering. Until you get back to like, well, it's like homeostasis. If you've never had homeostasis, which I never had, never, I got to the root cause of my traumas. I've never in my life experienced homeostasis before. Never. And let me tell you, when you don't have homeostasis, you're just running away from yourself. The whole thing. If you look at the world, what is everyone doing? They're escaping themselves. That's the whole game here. Everyone's just afraid to feel pain. And I get that completely. For me, it was like basically, because as my body's come into alignment, because I've done it in a really quick way, very quick. I've gone from like one very extreme fear-based way of being to where I am now very, very quickly. Just like, and I can teach anyone how to do this as well. That is powerful. I could teach anyone how to do that if they're willing to do it. Many many people aren't going to want to do it this way, but there are going to be people who do want to, who are tired of suffering, who just want to hit the emergency stop button. What I want off this suffering, and the process itself is a process of difficulty, and there is suffering involved. And you will feel things that you thought that you didn't even realize were in there. You'll remember things that you thought you'd forgotten, that you didn't even know that you'd forgotten them, and you're going to feel it all. But I can teach anyone how to do it. I have discovered the most. I think it's unique. No one in the world is going to tell you how to do it the way I've done it. But it's not for everyone. It's very extreme. If you want to do it, if you're really tired of suffering, and because this is relief from suffering, I'm telling you, this is relief from pain and not relief from pain, relief from fear and suffering. Because suffering is just fear. If you're in alignment and you feel some pain, there's no fear involved, because fear is just, there's parasites that manifest in the body, and they're like the physical manifestations of our fears. So when you have parasites in your body, they're going to make you feel fear. You're going to feel fear coming from wherever they're at. So it could be in your heart, your gut, your liver, anywhere. So this is relief from that. This is relief. This is I've figured it out. And I say I've figured it out not intellectually, but through direct conscious experience of this whole process all the way along. And I'm not completely done, but I think I am. That oh. Wow. Oh my days. Sorry. I think I'm done. Or just at least 99%. I tell you, the last 7 days has been yeah, I'm not. It's been utterly just, I can't even describe it. I've experienced throughout this last couple of weeks, I have experienced true heaven, like the 5D conscious state of heaven, truly in my own being. Amazing. And then I went the other way, because what goes up always comes down. That's where the balance is important, the homeostasis. I experienced true hell internally. So the heaven bliss state, which is indescribable, and then the true hell state, which is a state of extreme fear that is so overwhelming. But it's all there. It's all there just to realign us. When you feel fear, you're not supposed to suppress it, and sometimes you need to. If you have extreme trauma, I get it. When people say oh, all eating is emotional, it's yeah, fine, eat though sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you need the medicine. It's when someone's got an alcohol problem, it's not bad. If whatever drugs you're using, whatever you're doing, it's not bad. You're just you it's in that moment you need it, because you're always on your path anyway, all the time. You're never not on it. So whatever you're doing is what you need to do. It doesn't matter. So if you can't stop drinking, it's because you need it now to teach you things and to suppress. It's all part of the whole thing. But eventually you realize you don't need those things anymore. All the coping, you just won't need it anymore, because you've cleared the trauma. You cleared it. There's a blockage, and it goes away. And it goes away. It falls away. Once you feel it, you get to the root cause, and then you feel it. You feel how it feels. You feel how it felt. Because at the time when you felt it, the reason you don't remember it, or the reason that it's hazy, or the reason that it's stuck in there, is because you, as a kid, you're just trying to push it away. It's understandable, but you're just pushing it away. You like it like goes in and you lock up and you repress. So now, as an adult, the responsibility that you have is go in there, get it out, and it is not fun. It is not. It is not. It's liberating afterwards, but it's not. It's not enjoyable. And obviously, the journey has ups and downs and like peaks and valleys. But that's peaks and valleys is overrated. I'm telling you, it is. I lived my whole life like that. Extreme highs of escapism, but what goes up always comes down. It's the law of nature. That's how it works. You go up and you come down. That's how it's gonna work in the world of duality. That's how it's always gonna work. So the goal is homeostasis, alignment, perfect alignment of the body, which is perfect alignment of the spirit and the mind. It's all connected. It's all one thing. There's no separation from it. There's just, so the body, if your body's out of alignment, it's because your spirit's out of alignment, it's because your mind's out of alignment. It all needs to come into perfect alignment. And then you just feel contentment. You just feel like there's no like obsessive scramble to go and get the medicine, the alcohol, the food. There's no like, oh, I need it now, that's like a parasite consciousness. If you're like, if when you get hungry, which I used to, if when you get hungry, the energy of it is, oh, I need it right now. I can't wait more than a minute. I need it now. That is fear based, because you're clearly in pain, because otherwise you wouldn't be like, it's not just hunger. It's a pain. It's a trauma response. It's like, but it's not to say either that you're like, after you clear those traumas, that you're not going to ever eat food, or it's just like there's no obsessive scramble to do it. You do everything from a place of, well, completeness. So it's a place of contentment. So that and then whatever just arises in the moment, you just like go with it or not go with it, whatever you choose. But there's no urgency to it. There's no fear around it. It just is what it is. You're content if you do it, content if you don't do it. It's like whatever. Who cares? Like that could be fun. That might, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Even if it is, I don't know, using drugs, drinking, whatever it is. Because it's not the drinking or the drugs or the food or any of that which is the problem. It's how you're doing it. It's why you're doing it. The reason you're doing it, and the reason that most of us are doing it is to escape and run away. Fear, 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 fear. Or fear, always fear. And you're never going to live life. Never going to be able to live life in a whole and complete way all the time. You're not addressing those blockages and traumas and the alignment of your body. If your body's seriously misaligned, you're never going to get to those traumas because the body's too out of line. They're not even going to come into like the playing field. They're never going to, because they're like out. They're like in no man's land, and then they're like blocked off. So you need to get the body in alignment, which I can teach you how to do. Teach anyone how to do it. Anyone, if they're willing to do. You don't have to do it at the pace I did it, but I had to do it that way, I guess. That's my journey, because I'm here to teach other people how to do it. So yeah, it's important. Get the body. This alignment is alignment, trauma, operating from fear, all of that. Just go. That is never going to bring you happiness, or there'll be like temporary happiness, but happiness, not the goal. Contentment is the goal. Just, you know what I mean? Content. Whatever happens, content. Like, just, it's a peace. It's a profound peace. It doesn't matter what's going on. there's a contentment where it's just like, because there's no resistance, because the trauma is like fighting you. It's like fighting you, and you're like, ah. But when you clear it, there's no resistance. So whatever arises is able to flow through naturally. Whatever it is, there's like, because the body's just like, it's like a conduit for energy. So whatever's happening, if you're eating food, or like if you're eating it from a place of like just enjoyment instead of that scramble, or whatever's happening like in your external world, it'll just flow through you, and you'll just be. It's just like there's just like you go from like the default state of the default parasite state of discontentment, fear, and illusion, and just a constant scramble to get whatever you need to sedate yourself, or whatever it is, because it is all sedation, unless you're doing it from center, from homeostasis. Then it's not. Then it's like creation. It's creation. So it's different. It's different. It's a way of seeing. But to get to that way of seeing, when when spiritual teachers, you can tell with all the spirit, like a lot of spiritual teachers, that they've never experienced real trauma, because they say stuff like just simply empty your mind and everything will make sense. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Like, for people that really have been through shit, do you know what I mean? Just fuck off. That's, I can tell that you. Do you know what I mean? This guy came from like a stable home whereas like he never experienced a difficult day in his life, and he's just like, empty your mind. It's not for real people with fucking bullet holes in them. There is work to be done. You have to address this. It has to be addressed. There's no, whatever it is that you think is gonna fix it, it's not. It's escapism. Whatever it is, even if what you're doing is healthy, lifting weights, eating the right food, whatever it is, I don't care what it is. It's escapism, and the mind will like convolute it, and you'll tell yourself, yeah, this is what I should be doing, this is good, but it's just peaks and valleys. You'll eat the good food and you'll feel good, and then the trauma will hit, and then you'll I need to eat, and you'll eat the junk food, and then you'll punish yourself by eating the healthy food, and then lifting weights, and then you'll go through periods of like stagnation where you're like, oh, I can't get myself back in the gym, I don't know what it is, and then you like force yourself to go back there. It's chaos. It doesn't make any, from this perspective of homeostasis, it doesn't make any sense. It's complete insanity. It's a rotten existence. And again, there's peaks and valleys. It's fun sometimes. Sometimes it's awful. But for that fear-based existence, whenever it's fun, it will be awful. It will. There's no escape from that. Whatever you're going to have peaks and valleys. So just get it into alignment, address it. And I know it's difficult to hear, like, just address your traumas, because I know that there are people who want to, and they don't know how. They're like, well, I don't know. Like, you try meditating or whatever, and it doesn't work, and you just sit there and you just feel crappy, or whatever, fasting, and it doesn't really do it. Like, whatever you do, it doesn't seem to do it. It's because they're out of the playing field. They're stuck in there, and the body's too misaligned. You have to get your body in alignment. There's no salvation without it. There's none. Otherwise, you're going to be in the loop your whole life. You're just going to loop and loop and loop and loop the whole time. It's never going to go away. Never. So you got to do it. You got to get the body in alignment. And I can teach you. If you want to message me, I have a Discord server. If you want to join, if you're not, there's not many people in there, but there should be, because I have good info. So yeah, I'll put the links in the description.